Hi everyone, welcome to the football show with Yash and Neeraj. Today we have a very special guest. It's my brother Parth, and Parth has been a lifelong Real Madrid fan. He's been a Real Madrid fan for as long as I remember, actually. So it would be great to get his thoughts on what the season has been and how it panned out. So Parth, tell me what was your opinion of the season and how was it?
So hi everyone. Yeah, so this season was pretty tumultuous. Like at the start, we had a good start to the season where like we had defeated Barcelona and we had like a good run of games. But then we had a few injuries, Ramos and the other injuries, and there was a time where we didn't have a backline, the major backline that is Carvajal, Ramos, Varane, and Mondi, and so we just had like few new players put in, and then that's when the Copa del Rey games came, and we know what happened in the Copa del Rey games.
Yeah,
The jokes about the
but
plug bird.
yeah, and yeah, I mean, in but what were the positives for the season? What stood out for you in terms of, because you went on a good run and you were in the title race till the last, in fact, the almost the last minute of the season.
Yeah,
So
that's like one of the highlights of the season. Like at the start of this year in January, we were just like just counting us out. We were out of the La Liga race, but then somehow we brought back the entire deficit of like I think 11 points or 10 points back to just 3 points. There was a time against in the Sevilla game where we could have gone first,
right,
but that was impossible due to many reasons. You can say that the penalty was given at one end and not at the other, not in our favor.
right,
But it all comes down to bare luck in most of these games. You either have it or you don't. And most of these games, Atletico Madrid had luck. They defended well. They tried not to lose games. They drew. They got some points. But whereas we also were able to do that. But start of the seasons, we were losing to clubs where we simply wouldn't have to lose. We had to just put the results in, score three or four, get that pushing. But we weren't able to do that. So those are one of
right,
the highlights. And then the other highlight was the conversion of players, how dynamic the squad was. You could have seen in the Liverpool game, Fede Valverde playing right back did superbly. Lucas
right,
Vazquez, he was on the right wing, he was a right winger for his entire life, converted to a proper right back. He would defend well,
right,
also due to his short height and everything. You had Eder Militao, who was back, and he had formed an amazing partnership with Nacho. And then you had Falon,
right.
he was always a rock. Yeah, so it's been a whole different change tactically as well as mentally. So those are definitely one of
Yeah.
the positives.
So speaking of player improvements, can we talk about Karim Benzema?
Oh my god.
Because the form is exceptional. I mean, I don't know, was he always this good, or have we been ignoring him because of the Ronaldo and Bale story?
I mean, everyone talks about his link up play in the last 3 months, 3 years or so, but you would see that in every of his seasons, he would have at least gotten a total GPA G plus A of 15, which is like a pretty
Okay.
big understatement. Like he came to Madrid from Lyon at 21 years, and he was picked up in
Right.
the same era where like there were stars all over the pitch, but he was still able to deliver no matter what, get the goals, get the assists, and maybe in some games his goal scoring earlier the pre to these 3 years could have been better, but he has definitely
Right.
picked up the reins, taken us to heights where we do not even imagine we would have been. No marquee players. Hazard obviously has been injured, and Bale hasn't been at the at
Yeah.
any point of playing. We would have seen the Wales golf and all of those things. Madrid and
Yeah.
yeah, so
Wales Golf Madrid.
yeah,
Yeah.
those that was yeah.
And what about the frustration with the signings? Because, like you said, Eden Hazard, you signed Mariano Diaz to replace Cristiano, and no, none of these signings have really worked out well. How big a part that has played in this season?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because from signing Galactico players in the for all these years, we have completely transformed the way of our look at transfers. Like we are going for younger players who will be established as bigger prospects. Like you would have seen the 90 million splashed on um, Vinicius and Rodrigo, and then we've got Renier
Right,
too, who's playing at Dortmund, not doing so well as of now. We've got Kubo, who's not doing so well. We've got Brahim Diaz, who's doing well at AC Milan. We've got Eder Militao,
Yeah.
who's again picked up pace, but the big signings have not come to pass. You would have said that Thibaut Courtois at the start of the season was always getting met by players, scoring. He's letting
Yeah.
goals in for fun, but he's revolutionized. You would have seen Ferland Mendy, who's played really well. So I feel like if you take all the aspects of how Madrid has played, it has been only Eden Hazard who has fallen off the gear, but that is only due to his injuries and stuff. And we will talk about the injuries in a while. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, yeah. How big of a loss uh, has it been in terms of injuries, in terms of, and what does it speak of Zidane as a coach to work his way through these injuries and be competitive till the last game of the season and
Yeah.
even make the UCL semi-finals?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. I
um,
mean, there were points, as I told, there were points where like we didn't have many first team players. There were only like those five people who were there in the squad for sure. We had the three midfielders who have been exceptional for us. Karim Benzema at the top, and the duo of Varane and Mondi, and then Thibaut Courtois. That's it. That's all we've had the completely of the season. There have been changes in the squad everywhere. And so we've had a total of 56 muscular injuries, and then plus COVID, which takes it to 60, 65. And after every game, we have either one or two injuries. It's been absolutely crazy this season. We haven't had one proper squad. And that just shows how Zidane has proved his acumen, tactical acumen. He has proved that he is not just a coach, not just a man manager, not just a coach that who
right.
plays on his front foots, but he makes those front foots. He like makes sure that all the players play around his idea. And it's not just
Yeah.
Karim Benzema who is the target man right now. You could have seen that this season was Luka Modric's best goal ratio. He's got 4. You could have seen Tony Cruz, who's got his most assists, has 10. You could have seen Casemiro, who's the second highest scorer, has 7 goals this season.
Yeah.
And then you've got Sergio Ramos last season, who scored 14 goals as a defender.
Okay.
That's absolutely, I mean,
That is
that's
incredible.
reckless. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, Sergio Ramos's goal scoring record is just incredible.
I know. I mean,
Uh,
yeah.
so you had some interesting comments about the injuries and how there were very few in the previous seasons and now there are quite a few. So,
Yeah, so
um,
the new French head of fitness, his name is Gregory Dupont, was obviously been displaced by and Pintus right now. So
yeah,
in when he was brought in after the World Cup triumph, everyone used to dub him as the scientist, and this is because he got in many different revolutions to how fitness is, and he was able to understand that players who play within 72 hours, players are more likely to get injured. So then he was able to give during the lockdown in the previous season, he was able to give players a proper amount of physical fitness to keep with. And so like all these players were at the peak of physical condition when they came back from the long lockdown that we had, and we had a slew of 11 games, and we kept on winning each game. And so that was the major part highlight of last season. But fast forward this season, we've had 56 injuries, and maybe it would have been him overworking the team in. Yeah, so Gregory Dupont has maybe overworked the squad this season. Maybe he has pushed the dream too much. Maybe he has caused these muscular injuries, but there have been literally no insights as to why the injuries have happened. Maybe it's just due to the long year, those 2 years from the lockdown till now. You haven't really seen the players get any rest, and now through the Euros, some. So if
correct.
I mean, if Ramos stays on, and we all really hope he stays on. Uh, for the next few seasons. I'm really glad that he's not picked in this Euro squad, because that will just improve his fitness. That will just give him time to rest. And there have been no Real Madrid players this season in the Spain squad, and that really
Right.
hurts. But you see that we needed this. We needed Carvajal to get back. We need Lucas Vasquez to get back. We need the core
Right.
group to get back so that they can work well under Ancelotti. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. What are your hopes for the coming season now that there's been a Carlo
Yeah,
is
I
back?
mean, um, Don Carlo is what he's called, and for sure he personifies excellence. He personifies just how great he is as a manager. He hasn't had as good a time since he left Madrid. He went to Bayern, won a championship, but since then, from at Napoli and at Everton, he's not been up to mark, and that may be something that can cause us some problems. But we as Madrid fans, we just expect a lot from coaches. We expect them to win and keep on winning. And I mean, as a Madrid player, as a Madrid fan, even I would love for him to win whatever he has promised us, the Decima, that's what he's promised us. He wants us to get it back, the Trio Decima, whatever it's called. But we should
Yes.
calm down. We should understand that this is a place for stability, and he is the person who can build the stability. We've had marquee signings who are not working. We've had players who are aged. We have players who are coming in new. We have new youngsters who want to get to the forefront of Madrid. And I feel the appointment of Carlo Ancelotti is one of the best decisions made by Florentino Perez post Zidane's move away from Madrid, because he will bring that much needed stability that is required for us during this time. It's a moment of transition, and we need it. For sure we need it. I mean, it will be a good season as for us. We'll be able to see who's playing where, who's in whose plans. Yeah. So
That sounds great. Sounds great. Thanks for coming on the show, Parth. It was really nice to get such a deep insight into the workings of Real Madrid. And yeah, it's good to have your opinions on what you think will store for the club. And as Madridistas, I know you guys always expect to win trophies every season in, season out. So yeah, hopefully the good times come back to Real Madrid again.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on the show. Bye.
Bye. Take care.